Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of The Spotlight. I am one of your hosts, Kente, all the way live from Los Angeles, California, and I'm so happy to be here with you guys tonight. We have yet again another great episode planned for you. We will be unveiling the top 5 U.S. presidents, fictional U.S. presidents, captured in movie and film. So that'll be really good, and I'm looking forward to it. But before we do that, let me introduce my co-host and who will be the panel for tonight. You know this young lady. She's our returning champ. It's the one and only Jen. How you doing, Jen?
Hey, I'm doing great.
All right. So, I want to start this tradition, right? This week in Los Angeles, it's been quite hot. I mean, people think, of LA, they think, warm and sunny weather. Well, it's October and it's hotter than it was in any part of the summer or any part of the year. It's been like in the hundreds, right? So currently, let me pull up what we're working with now. I should have had that going, right? Currently here, right now, it is in Los Angeles. It is currently the weather is 76. Not bad, right? 76. What is it where you're at, Jen?
It is about 78 degrees right now.
Okay, pretty cool. And you are in Hawaii, so everybody's so jealous of you, by the way.
Yeah.
I've got a spare bedroom. Anybody wants to come? Hey, just hit me up.
Hey, don't be shocked when I come knocking on your door. I don't want you to be like, oh, that was just the radio. I wasn't serious. I will be there. I will be there with like the old school stick and the handkerchief and the. Man, I'll be there. All right. So also joining us once again, a returning champ. It's the one and only Keenan. How you doing, Keenan?
What's up, peoples? How y'all doing out there? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Talk about some movies.
All right, man. And what's the temperature where you're at?
Currently in Las Vegas. It is 67 degrees.
67 degrees in Las Vegas. So in LA, Hawaii, and Las Vegas, it's not cold. And also joining us, let's see if we got her audio working. Cher, how you doing, Cher? No, we still ain't got her. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna call you. You can stay on video. I'm gonna call you on your phone, so you can stay on video, and we'll call you through your phone. So let's do like that, because I believe they'll be able to hear us. Let's see if that'll work.
Hello.
All right, there we go. We got her now.
Hey.
All right.
Okay.
Cher is in the house. All right, so Cher, welcome to the show, and also we've been doing this thing where we're saying what the temperature is where we're at. Now, where are you at currently right now?
I am in Bayside, Queens, in New York right now.
Oh, okay. And your old stomping grounds, right?
What's up? And right now, it's saying it's 50 degrees.
50 degrees. So I think I have the hottest and you have the coldest. I think I was 78 and Jen was like 76. So I just barely nudged her out for the championship.
Oh, okay.
So we're going to be talking about movies tonight. We're going to be talking about the top 5 U.S. presidents in TV and film, fictional, of course. But before we do that, I wanted to talk about a couple of topics that I wanted to get to. And the first thing I wanted to get to was on Tuesday is Halloween. And I think it was our last episode. It was Friday the 13th. So, Halloween is a very interesting. Well, it's not a holiday, but whereas if you were a kid, you love it because you get to dress up and trick or treat, right? If you're an adult, you like it because you get to go to a costume party and have a good time and whatnot, right? So I think the last time I dressed up as anything, I was actually Michael Myers. That was a couple of years ago, and I totally got to see why Michael Myers was so upset because that mask is, you end up dying in that mask. That thing is hot. So I want to start off with you, Jen. What was the last thing you dressed up as for a costume party?
Let's see. The last thing that I dressed up in, I think it was a witch. But I have to say, almost always throughout my entire life, I have dressed up as something completely dorky. In fact, one year I dressed up as a calculator. That's how much of a dork I am. So there you go.
That's funny. That's funny. What about you, Cher? What's the last thing you dressed up as?
The last outfit I wore was a witch costume. It's actually kind of a solemn day for me. I, of course, embraced the stereotype with a witch hat and all. But as you know, Kente, I'm pagan. So it's actually, it's known as Samhain in pagan rites. And because it's that time of year when the veil is so thin between our world and the spiritual world, we call upon our ancestors and those that have passed on before us. It's almost like a Day of the Dead for us. In fact, it is a Day of the Dead for us. So I embraced the stereotype. I had a cute little witchy hat and all. And I have it with me here in New York, too. So.
She ready to go.
Yes. I left my broom at home, though. That I did leave at home. Couldn't get that past the TSA.
So somebody called you a witch. That's not a put down. That's, you're like, yo, yeah, that's me.
Yo.
That is correct. It's not a put down.
All right. So Keenan, what was the last thing you dressed up as?
Last year, I got a daughter, 3-year-old daughter, so I like to participate with her. And I took her to Disney World. It was Star Wars time, and I got a Darth Vader Mickey hat, like a helmet.
That's dope.
I had dressed in all black, and I had the lightsaber, and I was apparently Mickey Vader.
Mickey Vader.
And my daughter was Rey. But like, I went to a couple Halloween parties, and I just did Tupac. Everybody called me Tupac sometimes, and I just put a bandana on, and I'm good to go.
I like it, man. You can't go wrong with Tupac. Now, me and Cher, we don't have children, but both Keenan and Jen do. So what is Halloween like for you guys? We'll start off with you, Jen, being a parent and such. What is it like?
Well, now it's a whole lot more quiet than it used to be, but my kids are getting a little bit too old to go trick-or-treating. But I have to say, though, the older that your kids get, it's like the louder and the crazier they get on days when there is some kind of celebration. You'd think it would be the opposite, but it really isn't. Most of our Halloweens now are just spent handing out candy to trick-or-treaters, so we're getting old.
I'm gonna go back to the handing out candy, but what about you, Keenan? What is it like for you as a father, and when Halloween comes around?
It's exciting because like the last few years I just been on adult Halloween stuff and parties and alcohol and stuff, but now I get to relive my childhood all over again. So I'm just a big kid with her, and eat all her candy up because she can't eat it all.
Well, you got to do quality control, right? Make sure it's right.
I'm starting to put her on horror movies a little bit. Just a little bit. I ain't gonna hit her with the big ones yet, but just watching Halloween themed Disney shows and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Now, you brought up something, Jen, handing out candy. And I don't know, for a long time, right? I didn't hand out candy, right? I did the old turn the lights out, you know. Hope nobody come by. But
not nice.
but you know what? The last couple of years, I said, you know what? I'm gonna be nice. So I got one of those plastic jack-o'-lanterns, and I shoved a bunch of candy in there, and the first time I did it, right, it's like nobody came. I think the word was out.
Wow.
I was like, oh, I was low key upset. I was like, oh man,
you're not handing out candy. They already know. Past this house.
So I was like, oh man. So I was handing out candy, but not on Halloween. It was like for weeks after, everybody that came through the house, I was like, take some candy, please take it. Begging people to take it. But the last couple of years I have been giving out candy. So are you guys candy givers? Do you guys turn out the lights like I used to?
Well, I'll start with this. Yeah, I'm actually passing out candy this year. I usually go to like a town square and just walk around the whole little complex, but it's crazy in Vegas right now, so I'm just gonna stick to my own little community.
Smart.
And take her out a little bit early in the daytime and stay home and watch some movies and wait till the doorbell ring. I got some good candy, so they better come and get this good candy. I got the Kit Kat, the Snickers, the Jolly Rancher, the Lollipops. Come on with it, kids. Get it. Come get it.
They going. If that word get out, they gonna be there for sure. What about you, Jen? Do you hand out candy or do you turn the lights out?
Oh yeah, we definitely hand out candy, and we just moved into this neighborhood, so we are definitely looking to score some brownie points, and we went and got awesome chocolate, not cheap stuff. No, we got some really good stuff. So we're definitely looking to score some brownie points here.
Oh, that's what's up. And what about you, Cher? Do you hand out candy?
Well, it's quite possible I'll be working on Halloween, so I won't be home to hand out candy. I'm most likely going to be on set.
But do you normally hand out candy?
I do. Back in Jacksonville, there's a healthy amount of kids in our neighborhood, so hubby and I do our best to go ahead and hand out candy. And last year, I do remember that we went through our candy pretty quick. So what ended up happening is we started turning the lights off after we ran out of candy because we felt bad turning the kids away. It's like, what do you give them after you run out of candy? Like school supplies? I mean, you could, but
No, you write an IOU. You write IOUs and be like,
right?
I got you. I got you tomorrow.
That's it. You can't be giving out lame stuff, after all the other kids got the good stuff. So yeah, we kind of turned the lights off after we ran out of candy so quick.
That's what I was gonna say too. It's 2017, so a lot of people going vegan and stuff. They might be handing out tofu candies and stuff, and veggie chips.
Kale.
I don't know.
Kale chips. Yeah.
Oh God. Yep.
If you really want to score points, then you actually hand out stuff to the parents. Send them out a little bag of coffee, or that's the way you really do it.
Yeah.
Hey, I want you in my neighborhood. Shoot. Shoot. All right. So that's this Tuesday, and I want to move over to a couple more topics before we get to our main thing. Now, does everybody here subscribe to Netflix?
Yeah.
What about you, Jen?
Yep.
And Cher, do you do Netflix?
I do.
Okay, so Netflix, as we know, to get the streaming service, it was $9.99, and now they've announced that, and I don't know if it's taking place yet. I should check my bill, but now it's gone up to $10.99 for new subscribers. And
right.
I'm thinking this is just me personally. I think this is just the first step. It's going to go up way more than that, based on the fact that if you know anything about Netflix, they are basically collecting a lot of debt because they're borrowing money to make all this content. And so actually they're losing money, right? So at some point they're going to have to go up more, per month. So my question to you guys is, there's a lot of streaming services. You have Hulu, you have Amazon Prime, you have HBO Go, you have the CBS joint, and all of these different, and I left out a bunch of other stuff. So as much as we all like Netflix, my question to you guys is there a certain point where it gets too rich for your blood and you would not continue with Netflix? Are you guys okay with the dollar, pay hike?
I'm cool with it. I'm fine with it right now. They definitely have to add some more content in that high quality statue of wanting me to stick around. So I don't really see nothing wrong with it right now.
Right.
That's all I got to say about it. No issue.
What about you, Jen? Is there a certain point where you say, okay, that's too much. That's too rich for my blood?
Yeah. I think once it gets up to, we generally tend to kind of regard our entertainment in how much would this cost us in movie tickets. So if it gets to be, more than like a movie ticket per person per month, then I think we would probably say, yeah, okay, it's not worth it. So for me, that bar is fairly high. I mean, movie tickets right now are like, what, $12.50? So, we got a ways to go before I would consider ditching the service. But we get Amazon because we get Amazon Prime, but we hardly ever watch it. We watch Netflix and we watch Screambox. And the combination of those two things, I can't even remember a night when we didn't watch something on Netflix. So we get our money's worth out of it.
What about you, Cher?
I gotta say the $1 hike, not so bad. If it goes to $5 though, that's when, us working folks start making those comparisons. Like that extra $5 per month times a whole year, that's what, $60? What could that $60 could start going to instead? It's cumulative at that point. So I'm thinking, yeah, $5 extra from this point would be kind of a breakdown for me. Yeah. Because there are, alternatives to Netflix. So yeah, that'd probably be my threshold.
Like I said, they stick to the route of producing more original
now that the Amazon Prime, I have an Amazon Prime account. I'm actually been considering switching over to that instead, because your Amazon Prime account lets you do streaming too now. So,
but I don't like Amazon Prime original series though. I couldn't find one show I liked on there. I see a lot of content that I like as far as comedy, original series, even big star name movies. Adam Sandler got a couple movie deals, and just strictly through Netflix. So just keep it up, and I might stay around.
My thing about the whole Netflix thing is, if you're gonna go up significant in the price, then you can't go up for what you're already giving us. Like, if you can say we're going up, but this is also what you're getting, then it'll make it a lot. Then you can say, okay, I like that. I'm not sure what exactly would make me be okay with a significant pay hike, but definitely if they're going to do that, there has to be something that they give the consumer to make us go, okay. It can't just be, we have another Adam Sandler movie or whatever, whatever it is that they're putting.
Quantity over quality. You know what I mean? So they giving you more for that dollar. They releasing shows like every week, every month now. Like,
right.
They have at least 10 new movies, 5 new stand-ups,
Yeah, they're definitely investing a lot of money into their programming.
You know, this is the thing that I think about Netflix. The audience diversity level is so big. The demographics that go into Netflix, I can't even imagine what they would be like. And I know that there are markets in different countries, and so they cater different programming to different countries, right? But here in the US, we have such an incredible demographic when it comes to how people consume entertainment that I don't think that Netflix is looking for sort of the bottom line. Here's the kind of show that we need to produce more of. I think what they're looking for are things that create a baseline among many demographics. And so where one person might not think, yeah, this is totally stellar, and hey, you know, it cost them $15 million to produce. When it comes down to it, enough people have watched it in order to make Netflix think, yeah, this was definitely a wise investment. Like, I think that their marketing model is just so different from anything else that we see, even from other streaming services, that until we could kind of figure out inside of their meeting rooms how they're deciding what programming to put in, it'd be really hard to give them a direction about what would qualify as higher quality program. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. You know what it kind of reminds me of is, have you guys ever seen this movie called Moneyball? With Brad Pitt and Jonah, what's his name?
Oh yeah.
The big dude, Jonah something. Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
Jonah Hill, right.
Right. You know, it's based on a true story, right? It's based on the Oakland A's, how they didn't have any money and they were getting their butts kicked by, you know, the other baseball teams, and they couldn't even afford the concessions, you know, like that's how broke they was. So Billy Bean, their manager, played by Brad Pitt, figured out what's the best cost-effective way in order to win games, and using like mathematical equations. And I feel like they're doing Moneyball with money, you know, like they're using math and algorithms and stuff to kind of figure out, well, what is it that we want? And so they're basically pouring money. They're doing Moneyball by using the statistical analysis, but they're using money with it, you know, like lots of money, right? And I think it's cool. I don't know if, you know, I don't know if it's sustainable, you know, because at some point they're gonna have to slow down a lot. They can't just keep giving all that money.
60 million. They gave Chris Rock 60 million. They gave Adam Sandler like 120 million. It's like, sheesh, that's just 3 people right there.
I know. It's like, you know, like Oprah, like, you know how Oprah was like, you get a car, you get a car. It was like, you get a car.
But Kente, to piggyback what Jay said, I think something that they can really do to make a bang for your buck is to add on the different countries of European Netflix and different, you know, foreign Netflix.
I like that, yeah, because like you know, the Netflixes are, you know, they have certain content in different areas, and you know, of course, we have joint content as well, and it would be interesting to have, you know, to be able to see what they see in Australia and whatever.
Yeah, I gotta say that one of my most favorite Netflix dramas to watch is this import from Turkey, which it's called, I forgot what it's called, Resurrection or something. And I mean, it's about the time of the Last Crusade, and there's like, I don't know, 300 episodes, and it's all from Turkey, and it is amazing. That's a big surprise. I would never pick that up and go, oh yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So we're gonna keep our eye on Netflix and see what they do. And today, in case you didn't know, Stranger Things season 2 was released. I haven't seen it yet, but we will. We will be doing on it. We just got to figure out how we're gonna do it because, you know,
I saw a girl on the train wearing a sweatshirt with this young girl's face on it too. I looked at her and I said, Demi Gorgon. We had a good laugh on the train today. I swear, it was so funny.
Hilarious.
Stranger Things shirt.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching all these episodes and podcasting about it too. So this weekend we got to figure out how we're going to actually do it, but it should be a lot of fun. All right, so one more quick topic, and this kind of ties in a little bit in what we were already talking about in the fact that it has something to do with Amazon Prime. Now, once again, I'm asking you guys, how many people in this conversation have Amazon Prime?
I do.
Yep.
So we all have Amazon, right? We love Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Do we love Amazon to the point where we would let them come in our house while we're not home?
Oh, I know where you go with this. I know where you go.
No, probably not.
Well,
I'll tell you what, they do the dishes on the way out. They can come in, no problem.
No.
Right. All right.
I mean, unless they can clean my house, I mean, that's a different story. But no.
Well, Amazon has this thing called Amazon Key, in-home delivery and access. Not at home, not a problem. As a Prime member, you can get packages securely delivered into your home without being there. Plus, grant access to the people you trust, like your family, friends, dogs, dog walker, house cleaners, and no more leaving a key under the mat. Secure access. The in-home kit features the Amazon Cloud Cam Key Edition indoor security camera and Amazon Key compatible smart lock. So essentially, it's a digital padlock that you put on your front door. And if instead of them leaving, packages on your front porch or in putting in your mailbox, which they're not really supposed to do, they can actually come into your house and leave the packages because they're like family, right? Amazon. I mean, I give them probably more money than anybody in my family. So maybe they are like family.
Here's my problem with it, though. That's like CCTV, like closed circuit television. And in my mind, even though you can have a nanny cam or a closed circuit TV watching what's going on in your house, that really does not help intervene when somebody steals your TV at your house. I mean, you might just never see them or the TV ever again. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, that is helping, I guess, with your renter's insurance claim or your homeowner's insurance claim that, yes, somebody stole something out of my house, but boy, that's really not helping you get it back very quickly or preventing the theft in the first place. So I don't know. It's a big security risk to me.
Yeah, but you have Amazon Prime, right? So you can get them to send you one out, a replacement, real fast. I mean, it's a win-win situation.
That's funny. That's funny. What about you, Keenan? You give them your password or to your door, and you come home, and the Amazon guy is sitting on your couch watching the TV.
Oh, Lord. Like, hey, man, you see this new show on Prime, man? This is pretty good. Who is you, man? No, I can't do it. Just leaving my stuff on the porch. I already got an Amazon Echo listening to everything in my house, so I don't need to give people access to drop off a package. And like what she's saying too, maybe they can unlock the back door, go out the front door, and re-enter the back door. So. I don't know, man. It just sounds too much that we're giving them too much access. I was thinking about what if it locks up? What if you can't get in your own door?
Right.
And how would that tie into your own home security system? Because I got ADT, so is it gonna still go off on my ADT? Or what? I gotta unlock it when y'all come in and then lock it again when you go out. It's too much.
And what stops the Amazon guy from waiting 3 months and then breaking in your house with the code?
Exactly. This could be quick employees making keys and stuff. So
yeah, I'm good. I'm good on it. I'm good. I'm okay with a digital lock, but I don't want one that Amazon can just come in and out your house when they feel like, no, and no.
Naked. I'm
good. I'm good on that one.
I could see it working. I could see it working if you had like a real mud room, a real foyer, something where you have like double doors where you could lock your inside door, but then your outside door they only have to. That I could totally see, but you know, although
I'm actually would be good with that. I would be good with
I live
that.
in Hawaii. People in Hawaii rarely lock their doors. I mean, I feel like we're one of the last places on earth. So for us, it wouldn't really be so much be them having to like install a lock. It would just more, let's just teach them some pigeon. So when they show up at the door, they know what to say, and then that'll do it.
And can it be like, is it like a certain amount that before you want somebody to open the door, like a product over $100 or something? If if it's not over $100, just leave it outside.
Yeah. Like if it's some Sharpies, they don't need to come in the house. When I order some Sharpies, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we came up in there," and no.
And what if they see something they don't supposed to see? They gonna call the police because they walked in my house?
Yeah, it does. It opens.
That would be funny.
It opens the door.
You leave a machete with fake blood on the floor just to scare the Amazon guy.
Yeah, right.
See if they gonna tell. No. And what if you forgot that you had a package coming, and you came home real quick to take a shower, and you come out strutting around naked, and the Amazon person is like, "Oh shit!"
Right. Oh Lord!
Yeah.
Oh Lord!
I
Right?
would be more,
Like no free shows, man. Come on, no.
I would be more nervous for the people that live in states where they have I forgot what is the name of that law, where it's basically like self-defense by stand your ground.
Yeah, stand your ground when you can shoot somebody. You could, if they come in your house, you could shoot them. Yeah.
I mean, just by accident, but still, dead is dead. You don't really get a redo on that one. So I don't know. It raises a lot of concerns. I'm not really sure if they've thought this all the way through. I feel like this is the same kind of idea as the drone delivery idea. Like, it sounds great, but then when you really think it through, you're like, what? Who came up with this?
You really have to trust them, though. Like we was talking about in the beginning of this. Like, do you really trust Amazon? Some people really do. And like, hey, this is a new feature I would love to have. I don't have to stay home and wait for my packs or wonder if it got stolen or not.
Well, the other thing is, if you live in a major metropolitan area, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever have, but like if you live in New York City, you don't want them leaving packages on a stoop. You don't want them leaving packages any place out, because somebody in your building will come take it, whether it's intentional or not. I mean, probably it is, but even if it's not, it's so hard to track stuff down after that.
Right.
It's funny though. I had someone. I had a package that came to my house, and I had a package come to my house, and it was supposed to go to some other place. So I called Amazon and said, "Hey, you delivered this package, right?" I called them over and over and over, and they said, "Oh, we'll send somebody." They never did. So
Wow.
Yeah, so I just opened it. It was some headphones. It was some headphones. Nice headphones. Not these though. It wasn't these. But
I got a funny. I did a story yesterday on my podcast. And somebody ordered some garbage totes, and it ended up being 67 pounds of marijuana inside of those garbage totes.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
So they had to call the police. They came and picked it up. And just imagine somebody's looking for that package, though.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy.
But that's kind of dangerous.
Yeah, that's real dangerous. So, I think we all give this a thumbs down. I'm not getting Amazon key. I love Amazon, but not that much. So, all right. So let's get to the main event, and we are talking the top 5 U.S. presidents. These are the fictional characters. So, for example, Anthony Hopkins as Richard Nixon would not count, or Daniel Day-Lewis as Abraham Lincoln. We're talking about fictional U.S. presidents in movies and television. So the way that we're going to do this is we're going to start off with our number 5 on our list. We're going to all go around, and then, after everybody said their 5, we'll go do 4, 3, 2, and then 1. And I want to start off with their honorable mentions first. So I'm going to start off. We'll let the ladies go first. We'll start off with you, Jen. Do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, my honorable mention is the President of Earth. Sorry, I don't have anything more specific, but that Futurama episode where they talked about the President of the Earth, that the entire Earth is basically one giant democracy, and he stands up there on the stage, and the way that they sort of make sure that he only runs 2 terms is that they only give him a body built to withstand 2 terms as president. I just love that.
I like that. All right. So, and what's number 5 on your list?
Number 5 on my list is Independence Day, Mr. Pullman. It's Mr. Pullman, President Thomas J. Whitmore.
Thomas J. Whitmore. Let me guess, it's that speech, right?
Just everything about that movie just makes me, every time I see it, the office of the presidency comes into sharper clarity for me. There's something about Independence Day that makes me nostalgic at this point for the days when we saw the presidency like a President Whitmore. I liked it.
We don't see it like that now.
That's another show, Kente. That's another show.
So you didn't like now we're talking about the first Independence, not the second one.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the first Independence Day. I mean, specifically, I think that the reason that I liked him so much is because he started out sort of as a wimp, but then he really rose to the occasion and became something way better. He was willing to give his life for his country. I don't think you can get much better than that.
Spoiler alert, in the second one, well, I won't say that. I don't want to ruin it for people, but it's a horrible movie. It's a horrible movie. The second one was garbage. It was garbage. If I run into, Roland Emmerich, right? If I run into Roland Emmerich, he owes me $15 for that one. I swear, I'm like, I ain't leaving till you give me that 15 back, buddy. And parking. Wait, parking was like $2.50. I think I got some popcorn. You know what? Just give me about $30. Give me about $30.
Oh my God!
Give me $30 and I'll let you off the hook. He better do it. That was some cabbage. Okay.
Make it 50 for a little pain and suffering because I think you're entitled.
Make it 50. That's right, 50. Give me $50. And I'll forgive you for that bullshit that you made.
This tally is going up by the second.
By the time I see him, it's gonna be like, give me 350.
All right.
And then I'm gonna have a list of other people that want some money too.
You can't take it to people's court for small claims. Freaking,
I should take it to Judge Mathis. I'm gonna take him to Judge Mathis. He gonna fine for me. I know Judge Mathis. He gonna be like, I agree. I'm suing too.
Wow.
But yeah, that's a great number 5. So Cher, do you have any honorable mentions?
No honorable mention. But my number 5 comes out of animation. Now you know that I'm a big sci-fi and animation fan. There's a lady by the name of Penny Johnson Gerald who she's always doing the voiceover for a diplomat, a president,
First lady.
Some authority figure.
She was a first lady on 24.
Right, and she played the president, the female president in Justice League Gods and Monsters, actually, which I love. I love the way they executed it. And so, yes, she is my number 5.
Yeah. She was on a Larry Sanders show first. If you remember, she was Larry Sanders' assistant. on
Correct.
that show. Yeah, yeah. I like her though. She's a good actress. She's a really good actress. Okay, all right. So what about you, Keenan? You have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, my honorable mention is gonna have to be James W. Swire. Oh, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Jamie Foxx in White House Down.
All right.
Channing Tatum, you know, I don't got too much to say about it. It was just a good movie, good action, good flow.
Mm-hmm.
President shooting, gotta love that.
That
My
was
number
Roland,
5,
and that was Roland Emmerich too, by the way. I believe directed that one. The Offender.
Oh, my number 5 though is Will Ferrell, George W. Bush, Saturday Night Live.
Okay, all right.
Funny, just like he hit it right on the head. If you look up any of those skits, you would definitely laugh. Of him playing George W. Bush, just clueless thoughts.
He was definitely very good at that. Can I go back real quick though to I'm gonna throw Roland Emmerich under the bus one more time.
Oh Lord,
he should be on the terrorist watch list because if you notice, there's a pattern to all of his movies. Independence Day, he destroys the White House, destroys all of the cities and stuff. Godzilla, he just destroys New York. The movie The Day After Tomorrow, he freezes the whole world. And all right, 2012, he destroys the White House again, everywhere basically except for Africa. Hey, and then
wait a minute. So what? Wait a minute. What was that? Hey, you about to give him a pass because he gave Africa?
I kind of like that. I like that though. Africa was still standing. That was pretty cool. I give him a pass on that. And the Independence Day, he came back and destroyed the Earth again. I'm like, is he trying to tell us something? Like, he really doesn't like this planet. Like, how you destroy the world in every one of your movies?
Well, it's a little.
Maybe he needs to be on an MIB alien watch list. How about that one?
He's the man. If you want to destroy the Earth, he's the man.
I have a vision in my head of this guy basically thinking of human beings and grabbing this giant can of like people/roach spray and just spraying it all over the place. And that's basically the premise of every script that he writes. So if I could get rid of all the people on the planet in how many creative ways? Yeah, okay, this is the treatment I'm writing.
Yeah, I think we should be worried about him. But
okay, can I throw in another honorable mention?
Sure, go ahead.
President Lindbergh from The Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a great movie too, by the way. That's one of those movies that you got to watch like every so often. You know, that's a good one. I have an honorable mention. I kind of gave it away in our little pre-chat, but honorable mention is Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks. That's one of my guilty pleasure movies. That movie just always made me laugh. Like, I know a lot of people hated that movie, but I just love that movie. Like, I haven't seen it in a while, but it was just so funny to me. Like, I'm not even a big Tim Burton guy. Like, I mean, he's a fantastic filmmaker, but I'm not like, you know how some people are Tim Burton guys.
Yeah.
But that one is probably my favorite Tim Burton movie, to be honest with you. That movie cracks me up every time I see it. I think it's just so funny. I think it was underrated.
President Dale. That was President Dale.
President Dale. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's my honorable mention. All right. So my number 5, I'm coming out with both guns blazing. This is a film that was really good. Air Force One. This is President James Jim Marshall, played by Harrison Ford. You know, that movie.
Respect.
Huh?
No, I said respect.
Yeah, You know, it had one of the most iconic lines, you know, in movie history, you know, get off my plane. And, you know, it's like, you know, the president's kicking ass and taking names. And, you know, it's a good movie. Wolfgang Peterson directed it. It's very action, you know, packed movie. And it's basically Die Hard on Air Force One. So, but it definitely, you know, I haven't seen it in a while, so I wonder if it still holds up because it came out like 97. So what's that, about 30 years ago? Wait, yeah,
God,
no, 20 years ago. 20 years ago, my bad. So, but yeah, definitely that's my number 5. All right, so we'll go back to you, Jen. What's your number 4?
All right, my number 4 is I don't even know if you guys have ever heard of this before. It came out in 2014. It was called Big Game, and the president is named William Allen Moore. And if you haven't seen this movie, you should see this movie. It is just so good.
No, I haven't seen it.
Because Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, is that the one where the plane crashes?
The president. It's phenomenal. It's so good. Apparently it premiered first at a film festival, and it got really good reviews, and then it came out for a wider distribution. I think it was, I want to say it was like Spanish or something, but it's just awesome. I mean, you know, we were just talking about White House Down, and even Air Force One. It has that quality of sort of every moment is kind of kick-ass.
Is that the movie where the president's plane crashes and he's with a kid or something, and and they're trying to kill him or something?
I think that one I think might be different.
Oh, okay.
I feel like that's a different movie.
Oh, okay.
So my list.
No, wait. You're right. The setup leads to where Air Force One is crashed. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I thought that was it. I haven't seen it.
I'm thinking in my head. Did Air Force One? Yeah. No. Yeah. You got it.
Okay. Cher, what is your number 4 on your list?
Yes, my number 4. Now, if I started off with a black female president, I mean, the rest of my list can be considered the Obama-esque list, really. Because starting off with Danny Glover as my number 4 in 2012, you know, I mean, I watched a John Cusack movie. I think he's a cool actor and everything. I think it was a little campier sometimes in like when they had moments, you know, like funny moments and whatnot, than it should have been maybe for like this big epic, oh my gosh, the entire world is ending type of movie. But I was glad to see Danny Glover in there. You know, I've always been happy to see a black brother, you know, booking work, first of all, in a big movie, and second of all, you know, portraying, it was kind of like foreshadowing. Every black president that we've had in science fiction and TV and whatnot has kind of been foreshadowing up until we got Obama. So you could consider him like the start of the Obama part of my list. So yeah,
you know what though? Like low key, I like that movie 2012, right? The most stupid thing ever, but it's so thrilling is the limo part. Like, because it's like if you really think about it, it's dumb as hell. Yeah. It's dumb as hell. Like really, like you can't be dipping like that. You know, you can't be dipping like that in the limo. Like, come on. But it's a great scene though, because you're like on the edge of your seat. I'm like, he's the greatest limo driver of all time.
Yes.
So yeah,
and that's exactly the campiness that I'm referring to. Because I'm like, in real life, dude. Oh my God, please.
Yeah, there's so many moments in that film. You're like, really, dude? But yeah, like that and that movie and Day After Tomorrow, I have to say, was low key. I low key liked it, but I still want my. Was it $350? So, Independence Day.
Are we up to $350? Okay.
Don't think because I kind of like those movies that you off the hook, Roland Emmerich.
Okay.
500 now, emotional distress. So
there we go, 500. It's going on.
Yeah, add it up.
So what's your number 4, Keenan?
My number 4 is Aaron Eckhart on Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh yes, yes. That was low key good too. That's Die Hard
in the
White House.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Perfect look on that. Let me see, Gerard Butler, man. I'm really not a big fan of him.
Me neither.
But when it comes to action, he pulled off this one. Morgan Freeman, you already know how his voice carried power.
He was a president in that too. He was a president in that. Yeah, you're right. You know, the second one though was like a video game. Like what was it? London is Falling or something. It was like a video game. It was just like bad guys. It's like, first of all, okay, their plot is to take over London. It's like, how many people did they have on the payroll? Like, they had so many. Like, he was actually doing them a favor because that's checks they don't have to cut, you know, for these guys. I mean, how many goons can you afford? Because they had so many goons. He must have killed like 300 people.
And I feel like 300.
I feel like you're missing the point of the word minion, right? You have minions for this very reason. They're just expendable guys you send out. Yeah.
So they must have been like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. If everyone who don't die will pay. Because that's what I'm thinking of. Is like, how can they afford all these guys? Like, that's a lot of people they have to pay. And I'm thinking they ain't doing this for like $100. You know,
straight motivation. Just give me 50. Don't die, and we'll pay you.
Like, I don't think those minions are like, just give me 50. And I'll be
not so. You're gonna die for a cause, and we're gonna take care of your family. So that's a good way to play.
But they must have the most minions of any. I mean, they were just like springing out. They was like, I'm like, how many? It's like they just killing them left and right. So yeah, but you know, I enjoyed it though. It was stupid fun. So it was stupid fun.
It was stupid fun. I liked it too.
Yeah.
All right. So number 4 on my list, I had to go to television. And this is, of course, Francis Underwood, played by Kevin Spacey on House of Cards. House of Cards, I think, is one of the best shows that is going. And Kevin Spacey is just a fantastic actor, you know, and he's, you know, everything he's in, he's high quality. I was watching, they were showing CinemaSins. I don't know if you guys know CinemaSins, but they were doing one on 7, and it just, you know, watching him at the end, you know, when you find out he's, you know, the killer and all of that, you know, he's just such a fantastic actor. And then, you know, on House of Cards, his character is just so well layered and, you know, just a lot of fun. And when he looks at the screen and talks to the audience, you know, that could be so corny, right? But it comes off so well. He does it well. The writers do it well, and it's just a fantastic performance by Kevin Spacey, and it's a great show. So, number 4 on my list is Frank Underwood on House of Cards.
You remind me of Al Pacino a little bit. How he take his dialogue so serious to perfect, and just the way he deliver it with so much poise, and just you feel it. You definitely feel it.
And you know what's so funny about it? Bringing up Al Pacino. Al Pacino's known for doing Scarface, right? And the Cuban accent. If you really, Cubans don't really sound like Tony Montana. Not really, you know. Like if a Cuban dude is sounding like Tony Montana, he's purposely trying to sound like Tony Montana, right? But we give him props for the accent, right? It's so cartoonish. Kevin Spacey's Frank Underwood sounds like a like his accent is funny, you know. It sounds almost like Froghorn Leghorn or something, you know. But he's Kevin Spacey and he gets away with it because he's Kevin Spacey and he's great, you know. So but when you listen to that accent, you just like it, you know, it's kind of funny, right? His accent, it's not real, it's more cartoonish Southern Froghorn Leghorn, you know, I do declare, you know. You know.
Right.
Pretenders and shit. Oh my god.
Right. You know, it's just it's so funny, but he's so good. You don't really give him points, subtract points for how corny he sounds, how he sounds. So, but great movie, man. It's a great movie. So, all right. So, Jen, what is your number 3?
My number 3 is okay. This is stretching way back, and I got to preface with we're into the part of my list where these movies they're old, but I'm a huge TCM connoisseur. I love old movies. I can't even. And I mean, these aren't actually, they're not like ancient movies, but they're older. Okay, this one it's called The Man. It was done in 1972. The president's name is Douglas Dillman. And it's played, the part of Dillman is played by James Earl Jones. And the iconic part of James Earl Jones as president is basically that he falls into the role of being the president in a really strange way. I won't give away too much, but it's really compelling. And he starts out the movie basically being the puppet of sort of everybody else around him until he finally finds his own voice. And I'll just say, it's James Earl Jones. So when he finds his voice, he finds his voice. And the entire movie is just really excellent. James Earl Jones has it's a screen presence that a lot of people try to copy, but very few are able to sort of come off with that sort of presence. So I highly suggest it. I don't know, have any of you guys ever seen it?
No, I haven't. It's called The Man, huh?
It's called The Man. It was done in 1972. And it's got intrigue, it's got, political machinations, it's got all kinds of, and the other thing that's really cool about it is it actually deals with the presidential succession, which is something that maybe we think about it now a lot, but we don't usually think, in terms of that. So at the time, I feel like this was really, it was really different. It was good. I really, really liked it. If nothing else, if for no other reason, go and watch the movie. Turn it on and try not to hear Darth Vader. You won't succeed, but it'll be fun.
All right. The Man. Okay. All right. So, Cher, what's your number 3?
My number 3, somebody help me out with this brother man's name. Brother Man, as you know, science fiction, one of my faves, of course. The brother man that played the president in the movie The Fifth Element.
Oh yeah, that's that was your honorable mention, Keenan.
Tiny Zeus.
Yeah.
Debo.
Oh my goodness. Debo, correct. Yeah. And it was just, I love that movie. Just as a matter of course, it's one of my favorite movies. And that was, like I say, one of those early, one of the earliest, at least science fiction, foreshadowing of having a black president. And I totally enjoyed seeing him in there. I was like, oh my God, it's Bebop.
He's been in the business a long time. Wasn't he in like No Holds Barred or something like that back in the day? What was that wrestling movie? Was it No Holds Barred?
I think so, yeah.
And
I'm like, and it's cool. It was cool seeing him. He was all up in his 3-piece suit and directing people and stuff. I said, oh, go ahead, man. It was real cool seeing him in there.
This is how long he's been in the business. I was just listening again to the great Robin Harris's Baby's Kids comedy album. Love Robin Harris. Love him to death. He was my favorite comedian, right? And he's actually bagging on Tiny Lister in it. I forgot about that. Like, I guess he was heckling him or something, and he starts like ragging on him. It's so freaking hilarious. It's like, so this guy's been around for a long time, and he was in the Dark Knight. Remember, he was he had a little spot in that. So, but yeah, that's a good one. So, all right. So number 3, Keenan, on your list.
My number 3 is President Ashton. William Hurt, played by William Hurt on Vantage Point.
Oh yeah, that's a good low-key good movie. Yes. Yeah. I love that movie, man.
So I love the movie, just the whole concept of it. People got different stories to tell from every angle, and you gotta check it out if you haven't seen it. Just go ahead and make that.
That was a great idea for a movie.
Yeah. Great movie. That's a great choice too. Yeah, and he is very pivotal too to the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So number 3 on my list is, of course, President Tom Beck, played by the great Morgan Freeman, in Deep Impact.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Deep Impact. Okay, I'm gonna say this about Deep Impact.
Horrible movie, great president.
Deep Impact. Of all, like, remember, like 4 movies, I think it was, came out in, I think that was 95, that had a theme of a comet or an asteroid colliding with Earth. It was a NBC miniseries called like Asteroid or something. I think there was one other, and then there was, of course, Armageddon and Deep Impact.
Yeah.
That was 98, by the way.
Was it 98? Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Now, I think Armageddon was the one that was the most popular of those 3 and made the most money. But my favorite was more so, I actually like Deep Impact. Deep Impact. I believe Mimi Leader too was the director of that. She's a very popular director. She I think she got her start on ER, or that was the thing that brought her to the forefront, I should say.
Right.
And I thought it was a really good movie, and I thought that that I loved the way that the story unfolded a lot better in that film. But and I thought Morgan Freeman was awesome playing the president. You really, it wasn't like corny. Okay, maybe a little bit was corny, but it wasn't like, I felt like it was, it was done more serious than, let's say, Armageddon, where, Armageddon was like, Michael Bay, you know how Michael Bay do. So, which J.J. Abrams actually wrote Armageddon, by the way. But so my number 3 is President Tom Beck, played by Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact. Or I believe in Italy, the film was called Impacto Profundo. So it was something like that.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty funny when I saw that. All right, so number 2, Jen, who do you got?
Before I move to number 2, I just got to tell you, I also made a list of the top 5 worst presidents, and unfortunately, Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact made that
list. Is number 1 Chris Rock ahead of state?
No, actually, I think my number 1 worst president will be controversial to every single person who reads that list. They'll all be going, no, that's impossible.
Okay.
All right. So number 2, you all know who Henry Fonda is, right?
Oh yeah, the great.
Okay. Henry Fonda played a president in a movie called, fittingly, The President. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, he was called The President. The movie was called Failsafe.
The live. It was like live.
Yeah.
On TV.
Do you know that movie?
Yeah. They tried to redo it. George Clooney tried to redo it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
George Clooney tried to do it right. I don't think that they succeeded really well. I mean, part of the
great idea though
of it was, I don't know, Henry Fonda had some kind of magic on screen. I'm not exactly sure how that worked, but he was really good. But the pivotal part of that movie, it centers around this just impossible choice that he has to make, right? And every ounce of emotion that I imagine a president would go through having to make that kind of crazy sacrifice and crazy decision-making process was just etched all over his face. I've seen very few movies that sort of recreate that kind of genuine feeling of dread, terror, horror, while not being any one of those genres. And this movie definitely did it. So he gets a huge thumbs up for that movie from me.
That was Failsafe was a live TV show. It was done live, but it was like a drama though. A movie. It was a movie, but it was done live, right?
Yeah, that was the George Clooney kind of. It was an experiment, and
Right.
they tried. I don't think they ever got sort of the movie depth of feeling. I know what they were trying to do, but I never actually got that sort of like on an empathetic level. I feel like I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
That's
All right. So, Cher, what is your number? We're on 2.
Well, you actually scooped my number 2 as your number 3. I put Morgan Freeman in Deep Impact as my number 2. I mean, the brother man is just so versatile. The man has played the president, he's played an assassin, he's played God, he's played so many
He drove Miss Daisy.
You know,
And was nominated for an Academy Award for playing a pimp. A lot of people don't remember that in the great movie Street Smarts.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh boy.
Can you picture Morgan Freeman as a pimp? He was the coldest pimp I've ever seen in movies. He's like, which eye you want? The left eye or the right eye? The left eye or the right eye?
Oh, please don't get me started. That's a whole other podcast about how our black brothers in Hollywood aren't nominated until they playing something underhanded.
Right.
But like, I enjoy Morgan Freeman no matter what I've seen him in. So yes, definitely he's my number 2.
Yeah, he definitely got range. If you can play God, the president, and a pimp, you are definitely got range.
And an assassin.
An assassin, a butler. I mean, not a butler. What was he? A driver? Miss Daisy. Yeah, so I hated that movie, by the way, Miss Daisy. I love the living color. I love the living color though. Riding Miss Daisy.
Oh boy,
that shit was funny. Oh man, that shit still makes me laugh when I see that clip. That's funny as hell. They used to get away with some shit on that show, boy. They couldn't even do that stuff now, but it's pretty funny though. All right, so Keenan, what's your number 2?
My number 2 was Bill Pullman for Independence Day, but I'm gonna have to call an audible. I'm gonna have to just pick something funny. I'm going with Leslie Nielsen, President Harris on the Scary Movie franchises.
The late great Leslie Nielsen, yes, that was good. Yeah, he was awesome. Yeah, that was funny as hell. Yeah, I love it.
I love guns. I love all the crazy parody movies, and he made a funny president.
He did.
He was great. He was really good. It hit the later part of his career. He definitely had a big change when he was doing the Airplane and Naked Gun and all those movies. So yeah, it's great. So number 2 on my list is a film that came out in '95, and it was the precursor, in a way, to The West Wing. It's called The American President, and President Andrew Shepard, played by Michael Douglas. If you haven't seen The American President, you definitely should see it. It's written by the great Aaron Sorkin, and I believe Rob Reiner directed it. It's essentially a romantic comedy, but it's a very funny film. Essentially, the storyline is the president of the United States is a widower, and he meets a young lady played by Annette Bening and falls in love with her, and he actually tries to date her while he's the president of the United States. And you can imagine that causes a lot of stir, in the political realm. And it's just a fantastic film. And if you haven't seen The American President, it still holds up. It's like, if you see it now, it still is funny, and it's still, everything that drew me to it, 20 something years ago. I saw it like a couple of years ago, and it was still just as fresh and funny. And that's my second president is Michael Douglas in The American President. All right. So now we're getting to our number 1. So Jen, you have the pleasure of giving number 1 on your list first.
Okay. My number 1 is the movie is called 7 Days in May. Again, 1964, I guess, was a popular movie to release movies about sort of crisis in the U.S. Um, the president's name was Jordan Lyman. And have you ever seen 7 Days?
No.
Okay. So the just sort of real quick, the premise of the movie is the military of the United States is about to coup the United States presidency, the executive offices, or the executive order, right? And there's these two sort of high charisma generals that are front and center in this story, and it doesn't look in the beginning like the president is going to be able to figure out a way to keep them basically from taking over control of the government. And they're doing this because they think that this treaty that we created, a nuclear disarmament treaty, is bad, is really, really bad. And so they want to take over the government because of those decision-making processes. Okay, so the movie, the screenplay was done by Rod Serling, who is amazing anyway, right? The story was actually written by somebody else, but the screenplay was written by Rod Serling. So there's some really awesome stuff around that. But the second part, and the reason that I think that this movie holds up so well, if you get a chance to see it, you should see it, is that from a technical aspect, and I'm, the cinephile in me kind of goes crazy when I see this stuff, every shot in this movie is done so incredibly well, and specifically the shots that they do of the president, you can really see a progression from the beginning of the movie, how they shoot him in sort of softer light, how they give him less of a presence, how they even the shadowing and the scenes changes. As he gets stronger throughout the film, his composition in the screen changes. It changes in where he just is on the screen itself. The lighting changes, the background scenery is less important, or like he doesn't blend into it. There's just so many technical things to love about how they create the presidency through visual storytelling that it just blows me away every time I see it. On top of that, the story is fantastic, and President Trump he's the kind of president that you would want to have in the White House if there was such a coup attempt. Okay. So that gets my number one.
That film reminds me of a HBO film called Enemy of the State, and it starred oh my god, he played Edie Amin, Forrest Whitaker. And yeah, and it was like this movie, but it wasn't centered around the president. It was centered around Forrest Whitaker was like a military guy, and he found out that his bosses were gonna do a coup and replace the president, and he had very little time to try to stop it or something like that. I wonder if that movie was inspired by the film you're talking about, because that movie, the movie I'm talking about came out
really
late 90s.
It definitely may have been. It has a really similar thread. I remember that, actually. It's got a really similar thread. The thing that makes 7 Days in May so awesome, I think, is, once again, and I'm not dissing anybody's current production of anything, but cinema used to have a different standard, a different style to it. And so there are things that exist in older cinema, prior, maybe 30 years ago or so, that don't exist anymore. And when you see them now, there is something about the characterization of certain characters that really come out when you do something technically strong. And this happens to be one of them. It's still rare, but this is definitely one of them.
It sounds like you're talking about like a Sidney Lumet film, or during that era where those filmmakers, they made those really gritty, I don't say hard boiled, but All the President's Men type,
Yeah. This one was directed by John Frankenheimer.
John Frankenheimer, he's the quintessential guy for that. That kind of, yeah.
In fact, I think that was actually one of the criticisms that came out during the time, was that, look, there's so much attention to technical detail here that are we actually missing what's going on? But No, I don't think that you can possibly miss it, especially if you're looking at it from the perspective of today in sort of a backwards time sense. It feels really, it feels real. It feels like, oh God, this is exactly what could have happened.
Do they have a remake of it, or is the original one was the one from Kazakhstan?
This one, no, this one was done out. I want to say, well, 1964. I don't think so. It was done. I know it was done by Warner Brothers.
I see a 2012 version on IMDb.
Oh, same title, different. That was totally a different movie. That doesn't have anything to do with this movie. I know what you're talking about, I think.
No, it says the U.S. military leads plots to overthrow the president because he supports a nuclear disarmament treaty.
Oh yeah, that is the same one.
Yeah.
And so one came out in 2012?
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta see that.
The foreign one. It's like it's made in Kazakhstan.
Oh wow, that should give it a real interesting spin, huh?
Right.
Dang.
All right.
I'm definitely gonna look into great pick.
Yeah, it sounds good. John Frankenheimer's, he's fantastic. All right, so Cher, what is your number one president?
Yes, sir. Well, this gentleman, this brother man, has played diverse characters as well. He has been, and I had to turn the TV for this one. He has played, an authority figure on the unit. He's been, he keeps you in good hands with Allstate. He could be my president anytime. Mr. Dennis Haysbert as the president on 24. Now,
we're laughing.
Yes. Now, what I didn't appreciate was the way that his character got killed off the show, assassination and all, and then the president after him ended up being, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember the actress's name. Now, it was cool, but it wasn't, because I think it's Cherry Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Cherry Jones ended up taking over as president because she was the V, which is fine. It's like they kind of did a twofer as far as foreshadowing, okay, who could be president. So you could have a black man in there, you could have a lady in there. That was kind of cool, but kind of not the way it came about. So I felt a way about that. I was like, that's the kind of foreshadowing that I really don't need. So, like, it was cool that brother man was in there though.
Yeah.
So I still count him as the main president that was on the original 24 I'm talking about.
Right.
Because they rebooted 24 after a while. But the first time around.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'll say something about him getting killed off the show. I remember he did an interview on The View, and this is when he went over to the unit. And if you guys haven't seen the unit, that's one of the greatest shows ever. That show was so freaking good. And I hate CBS. CBS, honestly, Les Moonves is a jerk. Because that show was so freaking good. And it was just amazing. And, David Mamet.
That show was so amazing that I followed what happened to those other actors. Every actor on that show, I've loved seeing them in other things. More recent, they split to the Four Winds after that show.
That great
but
David Mamet.
I just love the whole show. You're right.
The dialogue is so amazing, and he was like the best brother ever in anything, damn near. That I just loved his character, and he was such he was such a man. You know what I'm saying?
He played an assassin too. There's a Sci-Fi Channel original series called Incorporated that he was on as well. Mm-hmm. All about, it's a futuristic one, all about corporate espionage. like to the nth level though. Like you have dudes that are like openly hired on your staff that would kill a mofo that was trying to mess with your company, and he was one of them. And he was just, but he was a family man at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like he's that actor that can bring a certain level to just about any character that he plays, because he is like that family man. You know, when you're in good hands with Haysbert.
There was a movie with the same similar premise. It was called True Believer, where James Woods played a assassin that worked for like this company, and he was.
Oh yes,
that was a good movie. Though that was a good movie. It was a low key good movie, even though James Woods is an asshole. But
but yes, Dennis Haysbert, my all-time number one.
But I'll say this though about. Because he was on The View promoting the unit, and he said that when the 24 people came to him and said they wanted to kill off David Palmer, he told them no. He said he was not going to do it. He wasn't going to come back to kill him off, and they had to really work on him to get him to do it, because they had came up with the plot of the season, and he just did not want his character killed off. And then eventually they told him they'll do right by the character and all of this stuff, and so he did come back to shoot the scene of him dying, but right. Yeah, I didn't like that either. He was such a he meant a lot, his character, to a lot of people, and he's a fantastic character. So yeah, so Keenan, are you with us?
Yeah.
What's your number one?
Now I want to go the same kind of route. Going serious, but it's not go serious all the time. Everybody want to be politically correct. No, I didn't want to pick on Designated Survivor. I wanted to pick Alec Baldwin as Donald Trump as my number one. Man. Emmy winning. Man, it's just the way they get to the president is really funny. And he really took his time out to say he didn't like this character. It's another show too they doing. I forgot the name of the show, but they might making fun of the president. But I killed it. Alec Baldwin. He looks like him. He sounded like him. He was doing the whole and it's like so spot on. And like I said, he pissed off Donald Trump. So Alec Baldwin for my number one.
Nice.
Well, my number one is Dennis Haysbert as David Palmer. In a lot of ways, I feel like the Dennis Haysbert character on 24 was so beloved by fans that it, in a certain way, and President Obama acknowledged this, that it actually opened the door in a way, because before 24, the idea of a black president was like crazy, right? But
they thought it was going to be the black chicken eating Kool-Aid sipping president. Like you said, David Palmer showed it could be a nice conservative, well-spoken president, and that's what Obama was. Like you said, he kind of boosted that opinion for everybody else.
And they were very similar because they were both from Chicago. They David Palmer was an ex NBA player. Now Obama didn't play in the NBA, but he, as we all know, he played basketball quite a bit. And they were very similar, except for Michelle Obama, former First Lady, wasn't as crazy as Sherry Palmer, 24.
Right. But the timing was very, very apropos. They knew what they were doing when they brought it out, because that was right in and around the time of the election, was it not? I could swear that that's when his character as the president came out, in and around the time just before Obama got elected in the first place. So
no, it was that show came out in like 2001, something like that. Because I remember, because I remember like 9/11, they almost didn't. I think they held back the pilot because of 9/11. Because remember the first scene is like a plane explodes, and they were afraid. They were afraid that people would feel some kind of way because of 9/11. So, but
Got you. Mm-hmm.
But it definitely, there's a connection, I think, between 24's President David Palmer, because he was so beloved as a character, and people,
Yep.
they loved him. He was their favorite president, and and he was, he's a Dennis Haysbert. He played him he's just cool, and the way he played the character, he was an excellent character. And I thought it was, so well done.
Overdo it, wasn't so over the top, like he's really got to act this part out. It was just like a natural dialogue, especially from his tone of voice. And
I do gotta Dennis Haysbert, though, he did have one of the sucker roles. There's a movie called Absolute Power. Gene Hackman played the president. And he played an assassin for the president. And there's a scene where he's trying to kill Clint Eastwood's daughter, played by, I think it was, what's her name? Lynn. She was like big for a second. Laura Linney, I think is her name. And so she's like in a coma or something. And he's trying to inject something into her line. And then Clint Eastwood comes out with, and takes it from him. And then, so he's about to stick what he was going to stick in his daughter into his neck, Dennis Haysbert's neck. And then he goes, he says to Clint Eastwood, "Mercy." And then Clint Eastwood says, "Fresh out." And then he sticks the. I'm sitting there like, man, you know what? He was gonna have to fight to get that thing in my neck. Like that old
All Saints versus Dirty Harry. Dirty Harry wins. Sorry.
I'd have been like, man, we would have been duking it out. That old man would have had a hard time shoving that thing in my neck. All right.
Are we doing the fictional movies as well on this show?
No, we were just doing fictional. I mean, we were just supposed to do just fictional. So
we was doing two parts of it. I thought he was doing the presidents, and then he was doing like just the main movies.
No. We were just talking about just the fictional ones. But I mean, do you have another list you want to share your list?
I was just I thought he was doing the most non-fictional like movies, franchises, or stuff like that. So I made two actually.
All right, let's hear it.
I gotta get up out of here.
Okay.
I got a few minutes before my other podcast.
Oh yeah. All right, so let's do this. Quickly, just run through your list and then tell us about your podcast and how we can get to it and all that.
Okay. My number 5 movie franchises, because I couldn't pick one movie from the franchise, so I had to just go in. My number 5 franchise is The Matrix. Number 4 is Jurassic Park. Number 3 is the Saw series. Number 2 is the Avengers. And of course, number 1 is Star Wars. You know what I mean? So y'all can debate about that when I get up out of here. But my honorable mentions in that, I'm going off characters and location, just the way of the look of the movie and everything. You can't forget Harry Potter, Pirates of the Caribbean, Aliens or Predators franchises, Lord of the Rings, and Batman.
And you're talking about the Nolan Batman or just Batman overall?
Nolan Batman series, Dark Knight.
And how can we get your show?
Oh, y'all can definitely check out my show. My show tonight is called The Man Cave Fridays. It's on blogtalkradio.com/HME Radio. And we're available on iTunes. You can look up HME Radio. HME stands for Hustler Movement Entertainment. And we're out of Las Vegas. And the show starts at 8 till 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And shout out to everybody over there. Shout out to Kente. Thank you for having me, bro.
All right,
anytime, we'll definitely come through and chop it up with you.
All right, man. It was a lot of fun, man. All right.
No.
Thank you so much. Peace. All right,
Hey.
Share. So how can people get you in social media and stuff? And also you have some, I don't know if you still build websites and do that kind of stuff, but share with us everything.
Yes, I still do websites. For now, I'm actually doing websites for actors in particular. You always have to have good marketing materials when it comes to putting yourself out there. So actors, speakers, anybody that needs to market themselves in the entertainment industry can find my work on this website called brandulove.com. It's BRAND, the letter U, LOVE.com. And if you go to brandulove.com/portfolio, you can check out some of the websites I've done for my very happy clients. I am also available on Instagram and Twitter as @SherDavis, CHERDAVIS. And I hope to have my own actress website up soon, so stay tuned for that.
All right. It's always a pleasure to have you on, and I'm looking forward to all your success that's already here and coming. So thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. It is a pleasure to be back on.
All right. And Jen, how can people get you in social media? And I know you have your blog going, so share with us.
Okay. Well, I promise I will share that. But first, I have to share my number one worst president.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the number one worst president that I have is Will Cooper from, you know what it's from?
Will Cooper. That sounds familiar.
President Cooper. You know who President Cooper was from?
Which
I'll
one?
give you a hint. It was the worst movie of 2015, and it starred Adam Sandler. It was called Pixels.
Oh, I never seen that. No.
Oh God.
No.
Okay,
You want your money back?
No. I actually need bleach for my brain on that one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. Anyway, I put together a whole list of the worst ones that I could come up with too. People can catch me on social media, Twitter @followingbliss, and my blog is criticallaughs.com. Once again, almost done. More content coming soon, but it's getting there.
All right. Well, my name is Kente, and you can follow me @KenteF on Twitter, and you can go to our website, indyradio.org. That's indyradio.org. Currently, right now, once again, we got hacked again, so hopefully it'll be situated by tomorrow. But definitely keep checking our website, indyradio.org, for updates and all that stuff. You guys enjoy your weekend, enjoy Halloween, and we'll see you not next week, but the following week. And God bless. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too.
Peace.
All right, you too.